Right, chat, we back at it again, checking out what's new today in the AI world. Something very interesting you guys should definitely check out is something that I think is going to cook up a lot of attention in a little bit here. So, when I talked about having the moat, marketing and distribution is really the biggest thing you can probably do right now as someone in the AI space, the idea guy, your missing piece is the market. Now check out this solution. I think this is probably going to be the most interesting method to approach the marketing side. Why? Because marketing is complex, it's everywhere. There's too much things to handle and your brain just can't keep up with all these things. So something like a flow chart, like essentially what this guy has built, right, is, for example, you add it to whatever, YouTube, Dropbox, whatever it is. You simplify the process. And then from there, the main long video gets clipped up almost like how clippers are doing it right now for streamers. This is probably the easiest method to do marketing. And I think this is the solution. So this guy that came up with this solution, he's on the right track. And I know this is going to make a lot of people's lives easier. Depends, if you're selling courses, if you're promoting new products, apps, you want a main central database so you can distribute everything else. You could even work with live streamers. So look at this. The videos get clipped up and then it gets branched out. This is where the complexity comes in when it comes to marketing. Is there's too many things to manage, too many accounts, and you can't visualize it. You have to one by one go and when things are clunky and not easy, too much friction, people kind of give up and don't do it. But if you have something like this as your arsenal, now the videos are being clipped up, they're being edited on the back, and now you have your final result, which is that video being published and distributed. This is the moat. This is what I see marketing is going to be solved by these agents. It's called Mosaic. I'm very interested in actually finding out how this process works deeper. So today we're checking out more marketing. Yesterday we checked out more tools, showed you some interesting ads. But today I'm trying to find out how to solve yesterday's problem that I talked about, which was the marketing moat, right? So let's find out if you have any other ideas and solutions might pop in. Cool, we got a PDF free there, nothing crazy over there. I think that was probably the best method of marketing that we'll get to. I don't see anything else coming close to that for a long time. So whoever's solving for moat, that is your, the direction you want to go towards. So let me break this down on an actual board here. Let me see. Okay, so if we look at it like this, the main thing, which is distribution. Marketing is what? Distribution. Okay, fuck. If anyone knows a good online whiteboard other than this all Miro, this and that, let me know. Because this kind of shit is pissing us off, when it comes to actually doing some free online whiteboard. I don't want to sign in every time to some whiteboard, man. Just want to get going. Fuck your sign in. Let's go back to our session here. Amazon's closing its Fresh and Go stores. Why is that? Amazon is shutting Amazon brand grocery store, Armin Gomar, eliminating 2 centerpieces of its push physical retail compared to Hallmark. Maybe people like to experience for Amazon, just go and we'll try it. People like to. All right, so let's see. As we were talking about moat, how are we going to solve for it? The current reality looks like this. You get your marketing piece that you have to basically go manually add captions. What else you got to do? You got to add copy, and you got to sign in and maybe sign in to account, right? All these friction points essentially goes to the marketing, and then you have to press post, right? Why is this an L? It's almost an example, when Steve Jobs, they asked him, why do you wear the same shirt every day? Because decision fatigue. The more fatigue you build up, the more willpower it takes. So if you have to add a caption, that's -10 willpower. If you have to sign into your account, that's -10 willpower. And if you press post, that's -10 willpower. So if you add the math, 10, 10, 10, by now you use 70% of the juice you have in the day just to put one piece of marketing copy. This is why people don't really understand that when you start having ineffective methods of doing things just to compete in the market that demands such a volume, effort, and quality, you can't keep up, right? So what is the solution? We just shared with you the solution just a few seconds ago, how the new AI model that is cooking up, right? Pulled out some ideas that have potential Now it's just a matter of building those for ourselves. We're actually tapping into what's available to us. So the new model operates on simplicity. Marketing piece probably is a long form video. Why? It's the most effective method. What's the most highest leverage point? It's a video. It's a long form video. Okay. So that's the most leveraged method. So what happens? We push this into our either Claudebot or whatever UI that we have. So it should be a one-click button / folder. You can synchronize it to whatever you want, folder, drive, link. So it doesn't really matter as long as you have one simplistic method that you identify. It could be published to YouTube, as it could be put it on the Google Drive. So what you want to do is do one action. That one action might take a -10 willpower off you. Okay, we can allocate that -10. That's okay, versus what we had multiple here. So what that happens there, it triggers your AI agent that comes and pulls, obviously, all the things we just mentioned right now. It gives it the post copy based on the transcript. It gives it the title. It gives it whatever it needs for it to be completing. Edit, copy, transcript, all that. And then it ships it out. So what we're doing with one activity, everything else is going in the background and is being distributed, right? So it's being distributed when it goes to clips, it's being distributed to multiple channels in multiple avenues. Okay, so let's say over here we have LinkedIn. On LinkedIn, obviously, you're going to probably have a different method of presenting yourself. And then we might have Facebook Reels, whatever it is. Every one of these, they have their own essential, the way they look, right? LinkedIn looks a different way, right? YouTube Shorts looks a different way. There's a different style of edit. So we're going to have to customize the B-roll for these. In a sense, the B-roll comes into play. So once we have our training data, we train our, infrastructure on how to operate, then the B-roll takes care of that. We don't have to think. We're not losing any. Again, we only allocate -10 willpower points versus here when we another 10 here. Okay, maybe the edit might need LinkedIn style edit, another 10. Do you see how inefficient the system is? This is why people can't maintain market. It's too many things going on. They just completely avoid it versus one thing, one system, one mode. Now, the power of this obviously is the distribution, and this is where agents, club, all these things, essentially, they show themselves here. They show themselves, they show their value point, how much they're saving you in time, because every one of these is like 15, 30 minutes, maybe 10 minutes you stop, maybe even more than that. So if you have your whole marketing department going to work for you, that's a major advantage for you, if you ask me. It's a major advantage, and you've officially solved for marketing, right? What we talked about, marketing was the biggest leverage point in business right now you have. So the sooner you solve this, the sooner you adapt this version of thinking, is the better you go. Now we could go back to the video we just shared with you of how they actually look like. Okay, so essentially, when it comes into the UI interface now, you probably think, oh, what does that look like right now? This is what we're cooking up. One main video is being auto-edited, and you got your B-roll, and it's what you want. You start out with that one main video. Like for example, let's say in Naval, this is the start of the whole thing. This is why live streamers, and I keep telling you, live streaming is probably one of the best methods right now to do this, because you're simplifying the process. You're just getting on live and you're talking, and the AI does the rest of the thing for you. It clips it up and makes it look good, and you go from there. Right? With the main thing, live streaming the video or having that long form video, everything else is taken care of when it comes to your brand, your service. You do this one time, then you can come around and improve it from there. But this is the main moat you want to solve as a business, startup, anything. And then you can make additions to it down the line. What are the next additions you can make to it? Well, the additions come in the form of what kind of angles can we do? Now, the angles might be, okay, now we want to do a POV style video, okay? Then we want to do potentially a interview style video. So now your branches are becoming more, and again, you're starting with one main long video in each, right? And you can systemize it. And then if you come a long way, and if you want, hey, I want to do this faster, then you put AI slop. I wouldn't say slop, but AI enhanced video. You could say avatar to multiply, to 10x the volume so you can see which one works for you and you can stick to that. Some people say this isn't the right way, but if you do the math on it, you want speed, and this will allow you to identify speed in your market. Hey, is the market resonating with my product and service? This is the fastest way to get there. With the AI avatar, you could create multiple videos faster so you can gain traction, get yourself to at least a decent, healthy follower account or subscriber account so you have the algorithm on your side. But if you do it the long way, you have to come, I got to edit. Oh man, I got to record a video. Oh man, this is so hard. I talk to people on a daily basis. They have a decent channel, like 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 followers. And they tell me, it's so hard, man. I got to do this. Okay, your solution is you can hire somebody, an editor to help you out. Or is this, boom, this is your solution. One Swift shop, one UI. Now, the people who are building these obviously they know what's up. It's probably not even at its best form yet, but this is what we're going to be looking at. A visual interface and node-connected marketing so you can scale from there. I want to be able to see at least tens of different angles of accounts. When I upload one video, almost like a clip farm, I want to be able to see 100 different videos come out of that with different style of edits, different angles, different music, right? So this is what we're looking at, and I think it's probably the most powerful thing when it comes to solving for moat in this era, right? People asking, you go over on Twitter, X, wherever, we're going into a generation of marketing is going to be your best leverage point. Well, if we're solving that right off the get-go, what's after that? Right? The only thing that remains is you wanting it. How bad do you want to create the new life or the reality that you want? Or do you just want to tell yourself, I'm going to do it later. I'm going to catch up later. So after we solve for this marketing moat, this new moat AI model, this whole thing that we're talking about, solving marketing as a moat, the next issue at hand becomes what? Is your own mind. When things become too easy, what happens to you? You start procrastinating and you almost feel like, you've achieved something. So you don't even do it. So your mind becomes your next battleground that you got to conquer. And I think that comes with, what does that come with? What's after this? We've solved for multiple things. Let me break down what AI allowed us to solve for. Solve for niche. It helps you find a niche right away, quickly validate it. It's solved for, now I just shared with you, marketing/distribution, right? So we solved that. We solve all these for you now. What else is there to solve? We have design, we have coding, we have product design, we have speed of putting into market, we have validation. Everything is solved. So the next thing is just doing it, feeling like it. So your emotions and feeling like it. Now, how do you bypass that? That is that's internal. Can AI help us solve for that? I've been experimenting with exposure pre-bed, as we know, pre-bedtime and post-bedtime when you wake up, right? Because your brain is, what is it? It's at its the right frequency to start, you call it's fertilized, right? Some people get deep in that, how it's the most optimized form. It's like soil, right? It's in the alpha state. It's in a state that it picks up things and goes into your subconscious quickly. So if your reality is shaped by your subconscious and your subconscious creates your reality, wouldn't this be the ultimate thing we have to solve for? Does that make sense to you? It makes sense to me. So how do we do that? Okay, let's focus on these two things right here, pre-bed and post-bed. If we're waking up and the first thing we're doing, we're going towards negativity, right? We're going towards something that is negative, okay? For example, I'm going to put in examples here. Checking phone, messages, worst of all messages, right? Messages. For example, I'll give you an example myself. I go on airplane mode within the first few hours. I go oxygenate because I know there's going to be somebody in my WhatsApp asking me something in there. Hey, delete this, that. Oh, can we get the salary early this week? Something along those lines. It gets pretty annoying when you have multiple scenarios that drain your energy. They're not very conducive to the goal. They distract you. So those are negative things, right? X, Twitter, news, they contribute to negativity, negative experiences. And your subconscious gets affected by that. Therefore, your whole day might be going towards the right direction. So what are the positives? What can we do to positive? Visualizing success now, in the form of now. right? What I'm doing now, okay? Visualizing success in the form of now. Oxygen. The feeling of oxygen also is very gratitude conducing for some reason. If you lived in places that have heavily polluted oxygen and you associate that with real oxygen that you take in from different parts of the world, I know it might seem like, what are you talking about? But if you travel to somewhere where even the act of being outside is suffocating to you, and you go to somewhere else in the world maybe that has good pure oxygen, your brain, your body starts almost, indulging in that experience. It's almost like, having good food, or like sushi, some type of food you put, it like melts in your mouth and it gets associated with you. So oxygen is like that when you experience it and you come back to it. So morning, when you have the oxygen, it triggers gratitude, right? Sense of smell. Some people say sense of smell is related to that. So we know that when we go out there, first thing in the morning, we have oxygen, fresh, gratitude, and you put all these things in there, good things, the mission, the gratitude, whatever it is that you're aiming to build, positive things, and you remind yourself either visually. What I've been doing is I've been utilizing VR headset to experience that. You can go buy one off marketplace, a cheap one, $100 one, but the VR experience is very enhanced when it comes to this. So the whole goal is to double down on the subconscious for a long period of time, 30 days of exposure to a potential experience that elevates your senses. The best method I've came up with right now is the VR reality, the virtual reality. So it's virtual and it's real. So we're making it real. We're getting closer to that. So all we have to do is identify the pattern. So what I do is essentially I create. So if you experience VR reality, there is multiple ways you could use it. I use a browser when I go on. I have a small browser here. I pull up maybe a good type of Apex 20, some type of sound that helps you out. Maybe it's more of a trance, 432 hertz, whatever it is, types of sound. And then we have potentially maybe a calculator sometimes. Sometimes I have something else that I run through some numbers and I visualize maybe some penthouses, some cars, put some POV videos of car drive. Doesn't matter. The experience in itself is enhancing, right? You're enhancing. So for example, sometimes I go check out some land in your area. How much do you need to do some calculations? You're getting closer. Oh, this is how much we got to run the numbers. So you have something you're going towards versus consuming garbage. So consuming garbage, and then you put yourself in that state over and over. It may make an impression on your subconscious. Let's say if it makes an impression by 20%, maybe 10 to 15, 20%, that boost that you need to come and focus on your work. Okay, what is my work? Now I have all these beautiful things I'm connected to. I'm very close to them. What is it? What does my work really become? And that question potentially is, you can break it down to its core thesis, value / media, right? That's one angle. If you're struggling to identify what is my main thing that I have to do right now, you could utilize something unconventional that I think most people don't talk about. Now, I actually came up with this kind of myself by somehow coming up and experimenting with it. Okay. So not too long ago, I hopped on a quick call with somebody that knew a lot about just personal identity. Right. He explained to me there's certain tools people use to find out based on patterns. You could say mathematics, patterns, numbers, things of that nature to identify what you are. Now, this goes into two sectors. It goes into two sectors. You could call it, one sector might be the numbers, like the code that you are. And the other one might be the universes, your surrounding / environment, essentially dissecting the code that not many people understand that is part of their reality. So the individual I spoke to, he broke it down nicely. He gave me a very nice breakdown. Now, people pay a lot of money to this individual. They said you have on one aspect, let's say you have the numbers and you have the universe, the numbers of the environment. Okay. The numbers of you is your vehicle. Okay, you get your vehicle, right? That's your vehicle. You can't really use that vehicle to its full potential. So what does that mean? That means if this one's a vehicle, this one is let's see, the AC button or the e-brake or all these things that are part of the vehicle, but they enhance the vehicle's effectiveness, if that makes sense to you. So right now, if I had a car right now, but I didn't know how to maybe turn the heat on if it was cold outside, which is some people might be experiencing that, is because you don't understand this point format. So you have to find that code, the number, essential, and then you have to dissect that, and you have to see, hey, am I optimized to run for, let's say, winter right now? I know a lot of this doesn't make sense, but is my vehicle rear-wheel drive? If it's rear-wheel drive, I probably can't drive in the winter effectively. So I need some snow tires. I need to optimize for that. If this kind of makes sense for you, then you can use it to your advantage. Okay. So once you identify that, then you can come back to the main thing. What can I do with my day? Okay. Then that method might tell you, oh, you need to work on, for example, a SaaS business because you're optimized for, creating design, good value, problem solving people, and you kind of don't want to be behind camera or something. Whatever it is the case, right? You understand what aligns with you, or you might be people, might be media, might be, all these things. There's so many things that you could use, but at least it gets close. You get closer to it. And once you find out, hey, this is what I got to do. This is the most optimized way of me putting my time. And if I do it, I get results effectively. I'm going to do that. Now, I'll tell you how this aligns with me personally. Okay, my process really comes down to services, right? Services, generally speaking, building relationships, acts of service, things like that. And every time I do something like that, it resonates. I made good money. So my money is directed, the lane I'm in comes into this long-term thinking, value, trust, building a service for people that really, simplistic versus maybe a unicorn idea that we've done in the past that never gained traction. So if you want to identify what's the easiest path for me, by knowing this, you can tap into that. Once the next step is obviously just do it for long enough time, get the feedback. If the feedback is correct, then you're on the money. If it's not, back to the drawing board. It's really that simple. So the whole goal of this is get to our mission, get to our goal faster by enhancing ourselves. If this was interesting to you and you want to understand more about how we're kind of approaching success, life, just in general, then keep watching, these streams, these videos. Well, we'll get more into these things, And if you have questions, obviously we can help dig deep, but this is how I would approach it. So if this video was interesting to you, check out the description below for resources, tools, community, so you can get access to more insights and you can actually, go above and beyond. So the one thing that's probably against you, I have to be very blunt with you right now. We have all these solutions, right? We talked about MOAT, this, that, right? None of it matters because there's a speed at force. There's a speed. You have to almost see you're on planet Earth right now. There's something coming at you that you don't even understand. It's out of your reality. So the speed of you getting that cash flow and utilizing, these leverage points right now, this minute, right now. The speed of you eliminating negative things that's delay. So you could call it eliminating cynicism, being cynical, low risk. These are the things that are extremely detrimental to where you're going to go in the future, where you end up in the future. If you're seeing right now, you're someone watching this video, you're saying, oh man, I'm just not moving fast enough. You need to fix that very quickly because you're cooked. Oh man, I'm hanging out with, friends too. We're doing too much things. I'm spending Friday nights out or whatever. I'm having too much gaps in my calendar. Uselessness. You're not good for you. You're cash flowing, but you're not seeing cash flow as capital as leverage. You're not doing anything with it. You're not experimenting with it. You're not recycling that cash. You're not developing anything with it. You're losing on those leverage points. Not good. You're taking this out. It's bad. It's cynical. Being cynical towards information, courses, all that stuff. This is I think one of the worst ones here because right now you can't afford to have that within your vocabulary. It just doesn't make sense. You have to do the math on it because before when something comes along, it goes like this. This is why most people don't really understand. Let's say you found out here, the opportunity was maybe a drop shipping or something. The next opportunity that you didn't see that came along was something along similar lines. Maybe Shopify brand. I don't know exactly. SMMA. Okay. And you told yourself, oh, I'll catch the next one and the next one. Okay. There's always one around the corner. Right? This is how it's always been. But this current opportunity we're in, the next opportunity is not going to be around the corner. It's going to be in a decade. Now, I've actually experienced this myself. Who knows? I don't know exactly. But the opportunity, the creative gap is so large. This should make you scared. You should be fearful of this exact gap. The opportunity gap is how I like to call it. Because here you could afford, okay, I miss SMMA. I miss this. I miss maybe, apps in 2004, but now apps are making a comeback. Right now, you got to utilize AI. Everything's coming back. If you miss this one right here, if you miss it, the next opportunity might be 2 decades from now. Who knows? You can't afford that. It might not even come along. And if it does, the competition might be just so high, you can't utilize it fast enough. So you have to look at it like this. If I don't know myself, my DNA, my code of myself, how I operate, what's best for me, if I don't align myself with the actual process of, solving for what dictates success, which is my subconscious, putting myself in that pattern over and over and over, lowering the amount of time I spend in the negatives because I know that dictates my reality, increase my positives by being ruthlessly, self-aware, tracking it, then I can optimize myself for success quickly so I can catch this wave successfully. And if I do, I become part of that class that gets to have more opportunities. Okay, because the opportunities here, let's say, that come along, there's many opportunities that compound, are probably going to be like compute. They're going to require a lot of real leverage, real money, real cash flow, data, right? So you're going to be dealing with things that the average ordinary people might be priced out. How do I say that? Because you could look at it right now. The price of a computer, a chip, has gone up so exponentially. Just the other day, I saw one guy said 2 sticks of RAM is $1,000. Okay, where previous to that it was probably maybe like $80. So even the average activities that you could probably do here, didn't even think, oh, it's always going to be there. It might not be. Who knows? I'm not saying. Some people say it might not. But as we're seeing, Mac Minis right now are going, they're flying off the shelves. So there's a new term coming out, computeless. If you fall into this trap of becoming computeless by not exercising what we're telling you right now, speed, locking in, leverage points, the cash flow goes towards these leverage points, AIA deploying, by not eliminating cynicism, by not being very aggressive with how you approach information, taking information, joining communities, courses, whatever it is. By not being a part of that, you're delaying everything and you will end up being computeless. This is what you don't want. This is the ultimate thing right now. Someone, you ask them right now, hey, do you have a local LLM running? How many billion tokens are you running per minute? They won't even know what's up. How many million tokens are you running, per second? Whatever it is. They're computeless. When you can't execute on all these leverage points that might come along your way, because everything from this timeline is going to be based on compute. And if you don't even understand what that means, what it could do for you, you're priced out. Not even priced out, you're not even in the lane. You're distracted by who knows. You're operating in the negatives. We talked about all here. You're in the negative. 90% of your time is in the negative. Maybe sometimes you want the positive. Sometimes you go visualize success, gratitude, do all these. But the rest of the time, you're checking your phone. You're distracted by the environment that's being created for you. So you're not going to leverage anything. You're just going to take L's all round. Okay. So if you don't want to be a part of that, the best way scenario is to create the environment for yourself that doesn't give you any chances of falling into that trap. So check out the description below, comment, engage with these communities that, pop up. And hopefully this video makes sense to you. I'll check you on the next one.